these videos, we're aiming to create an online library where if you don't manage to come to Full Circle or any of our events that we think are worth putting up, you can come in your own time and look at this video and learn about the topic.
Thank you. I really appreciate. So my name is Omar Rodriguez, came from Honduras, specifically from Capucas. It's near the Selake Park, National Park, Selake. And this time we were talking about diversification, trying to show you an option for farmers, can be honey. I think it's very connect with the plantations, because pollinize also increase production, but also it's extra income for farmers. So we talk about this with Henry, and I think will be interesting to see some data. Of course, I'm not an expert, so I would prefer to talk about coffee, but yeah, we have some experience right now with honey, and yeah, we'll see the presentation. So we begin with 55 members. Right now we are a little bit more than 700 active partners with different certifications. The base is fair trade, organic. Then we add more. But basically that certification, and in case of diversification product, because we have several, we're trying to do the same that we did with coffee, looking what the market is looking for, trying to did an origin and offer that product based on quality plus certification or social things that the market are looking for. So we go directly. This is our logo. So we set up a new company. We invite the partners that we already have in coffee, so to create a new company just for the honey project. So please pay attention. Here we are. Okay. The idea was to make something that is available to export the product, the honey. So we travel a lot. Something that is interesting that is my grandfather traveled to Costa Rica to learn coffee in 1950. And then I traveled also to the same country to learn about honey. So interesting things. Yes, we analyze in terms of space, also to certify the plant. So right now we have a certified plant, the first one in Honduras, that have these characteristics. And the idea is to export more or less 8 containers, that amount that we can manage, I think, in Capucas. Right now we only produce 1. But yeah, we are working on develop the production. This is the opening ceremony that we did. We organized the first Congress in Honduras about honey, and we did some research also based on, how the honey can help in terms of health and new products, things like that. And it was a Central American Congress. So we did this in Santa Rosa, and we used that opportunity to open our inauguración, ¿cómo se dice? Opening, yeah, the new plant. So here we trying to also, as I mentioned, to also give value to the honey, because I mean, also England, Europe produce a lot of honey. So when you go to the big market, so you don't receive good feedback about price. Can be 2.50 a kilo of honey that came from maybe China, Argentina, or another country. So we cannot compete with that. Our price inside of the country are better because we don't produce too much honey. So that's an advantage. We can sell locally, but also thinking about export, we need to increase the value of that honey. So that's why first, in the apis, we have two groups of bees. The apis, that one that have the stink, and the meliponas, which is in Spanish, or Apiae meliponini, which is the bees that didn't sting you. We call native bees. Also, you have here some native bees. But in America, I think we are losing that year by year. So we're trying to recover that native bees, and that honey is very special. But the problem with that honey is that we don't have too much research. So we are working, for example, with Texas A&M, doing research about the characteristic of this honey. And when we came to Texas, for example, which is a very important university in US in terms of agronomical products, they say we only study apis. We didn't study meliponas. So I think it's a big, huge opportunity because this honey is used by our people, not just in Honduras, it's across America. Means from Mexico to Brazil, for example. Brazil have a lot of this also. And people use for many, in many ways, but as a health product. For example, if you burn your skin, you put this kind of honey, and it's really good. Some people in Nicaragua, I heard that they're using to against cancer, skin cancer, for example. But this is the problem is that there are not like a university or somebody that support that information. So that's the part that we want to develop. Some numbers that I get for internet. As you know, bees are very important for the environment. Coffee is not the exception. We need for increased production and also to develop quality or new varieties appears from that. So it's very important for the environment. There are studies that say, as you know, that if bees disappear in 50 years is not human beings and the planet. So we have to protect that species. So because we don't have food, and then we die, basically. Chemical composition of honey. As I tell you, I'm not an expert, so I don't want to be deep on that. You can find this in internet. But this is the apis one, because if you trying to looking for the meliponas, you don't found too much information. So that's why I think we need. So what is the relation with coffee? For us, it's a perfect match. As you see, this is a melipona in a flower of coffee. So the good thing with this is, I mean, not just in terms of increased production, extra incomes, but also tourism that we can make with this. So it's many topics that are working together. So we found this perfect match with coffee. For example, we have this internal competition every year, Te Van a Conocer Compa, which is a Wayfield participate. And we send some microlots here through the program 1-to-1. Henry was there as a judge, and we take that opportunity to show also the other things that we are doing. So we go and harvest honey with them, processing, so to understand. And now the problem is, they say, yes, I am interested in your honey, but how we bring? So we have to make the same. So prepare Wayfield to consolidate a container of honey. Okay. So this is all the judges. You cannot recognize them over there. But we visit a farm. This is the facilities of Panchito, which is one of the most amazing farmers that we have. You can see in the back the wet mill, but over there he have the hobbies. So we go there and harvest, and use the solar dryer as a processing area. So I take these numbers, talking with the people that are really more serious in terms of producing honey and combined with coffee. So a farmer that have 50 hobbies can generate a minimum salary, which is for us is $400 per month. So that's mean $4,800 a year, which is good. I mean, if you are thinking about a product that is extra incomes and not take too much of your time every month, and it's something that you have in the flowers. So we say the money is in the flowers. So you have go and send and pick up that money. So of course, the same that we did with coffee, traceability, history behind, all the process, control the process, quality control, the same that we have to deal with honey, and maybe more, because it's as a product that can be damaged easily, can be fermented easily if you don't harvest in the right time. If you harvest with too much water, for example, and then get ferment or get alcoholic flavors, so you don't want that. So I think it's a good amount of money. And is 50 hobbies is and a small farmer can have in their plantation, so they don't need rent in a space for that. We have an amazing history of a guy that started with nothing. He recollects some piece of wood, make the hobbies, then he collect in the mountain, start with 3 hobbies, and now he have 100. So he even need any money to start the business. And he don't have a land. Now he buy a piece of land, build his house. So that's because we're trying to change the mind of sometimes of the farmers, that they think that everything is about money. How much I can receive, how much you will support to me to start something. And that kind of people, in this case, this guy, show the rest that is about passion that you put in the things. So, and then another combination with coffee is because organic is very important. Because if we spray chemicals and we spray product that kill the bees, then we destroy the business. So we work very hard with the producers that they have a diversified farms. So they plant trees, flowers, ornamental plants. They don't spray any chemicals to protect the bees that in the end they will give you money. So that is a perfect match with the coffee. So that's why it's very important, organic. But I will show you more topics about that. So this is the facility that we have in the co-op, using microorganisms that the colleague mentioned. But in this case, to ferment the pulp, to ferment different foliars that we spray in the farms. So trying to make everything organic since the beginning, using all the material that we have, all the ways that we have, and give back to the farm. and at the same time promote that kind of environment of each producers. This is the plan. This is Julissa. We encourage these young people. This girl is not an engineer, but we give training. We send to Colombia, we send to Peru, Ecuador to train, to learn, and now she is an expert. She can make, she develops her own formulas. He try, of course he burned some trees, but she also recovered some trees, so it's amazing. And that's why we like to support young people, because it is the next generation of coffee growers, next generation that we keep the business alive. So we try to make like this. This is the coffee plantation. This is lemongrass. This is ornamental. You see shave. And all of these plants produce flowers that in the end will produce honey. This kind of plant called bombeya, for example, is a plant that in the winter, which is a hard time for us because we don't move the hive bees from Capucas to another place to produce more honey. The hive bees stay there. So in the time that it's not flowering season, you have to feed. So to avoid that and not feed the bees with sugar and other things, we plant these kind of flowers. These flowers because growing como para abajo, ¿cómo sería? Low-lying flowers. So the bees came like this and take the pollen to produce honey. So and that kind of flowers grow very fast, so you can have in the farm and still continue producing honey. And also the lemongrass, we export the first container of lemongrass to US market through Coffee Planet. And also it's another business that we can make. Of course, not all the time, because when the shave grow, then you cannot grow lemongrass. But this is another, but we are not talking about lemongrass today. But this is the shipment that we did. It was the first one in Honduras. So native trees, that's another importance about native bees, because the native bees, not the apis, visit the native trees, that in the end is the original forestry that we have in our countries. So that's very important also to keep that bees alive and to promote that production. So here we win in many ways. Farmer have a retire income in the future when they can harvest the trees, but also produce in the same time honey. We use, for example, ingas. The ingas produce a lot of honey because it's a leguminosa that produce a lot of flowers and can be 1 month with flowers. So that's really good for honey. And at the same time help to certify the plantation, the entire plantation, to sell or to use that wood in a sustainable way that you can cut, but with control. And that's another thing that is really good. So pollen. This is, I mean, in honey you can make a lot of products, skin products, different kind of products, but the basic one are honey, pollen, and okay, I will I have another slide about that. But pollen and honey, and we put some traps to get that pollen, and as a superfood also that we can sell for a good price in the internal market and outside also, of course. And the good thing is we make analysis in the honey, we make analysis on the pollen, and all of these visit coffee. And when we make the analysis, we found caffeine on the honey, which is very interesting. And and differentiate the honey from the others. So now you can find, for example, in U.S. market, blossom honey. So and it's working really good. I mean, people see the differentiation because tastes different. So later we will taste some honey. But what about native bees? I want to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about these small friends and trying to put in you the curiosity, and maybe you have contacts, maybe you already know that part, or maybe we like to experiment. We like to the connection and bring together the knowledge. Capucas is Capucas because first the hand of God, but then because we bring people, we bring knowledge that teach us how to make things. And if you have contacts about this topic, we are open to host you. You can stay with us, making a study, because we are really interested about this. Native bees or meliponas, there are 20,000 registered in the world. That there are more, of course. Pollinize 90% of the native trees. So that means that if we protect that kind of bees, we are protecting the forestry, and in the end, we are protecting the planet. And as you know, coffee, a lot of time, you cut some trees, and then you add another trees or outside trees. So the idea is to keep that native trees, and the bees play a good role on that. So that's very important. Visit coffee, of course. The tourist part also. We create small areas when we have different kind of bees, because that one, because didn't sting you, can be in home. Normally, it's in home in a trunk. I will show you some pictures. The problem is that only produce 2 kilos per year, but that increases the price, because not just because it's a small amount, it's because the quality of that honey. And local people use as a medicine. I have a testimony of a girl that have problem in the stomach, and she start to eat 1 spoon in the morning before eating, and now it's completely health. So because that, but again, we need the background, the somebody that support that information. So this is different kind of meliponas. These weird names, Trigona pipinies. I will not go deep on that. But this is the traditional way that these native bees grow, different ways. As you see, it's completely different than the apis. The bees as small bowls of honey. This is the way that people have in home. They found in trunks because they like to live when they found a different kind of trees like ingas, for example, that is very common in coffee plantations. So that space they like a lot. So people then later have to cut the trunk, put it in home, but they can have it in home. That's the good thing with these bees. That is, you are not worried about means that somebody can be killed. This is very friendly. But this is the traditional. So we are moving to this. So this was developed with the time. So we put the bees here. So they start to grow, and then you harvest in the top very easily. Then you don't destroy the balls. You can extract that. It's more clean, so you don't have pollen on the honey. So a lot of advantage, and you can produce a little bit more also. This is very common in Capucas, Tetragonisca angustula, which is called chumelo, angelito in Colombia. So it have different names and around the coffee plantations, but it's like a helicoptero. I think they take the image from there. So different kind of bees. Melipona becky. This is one very interesting because looks like an apis, but didn't have an sting. So that's really, really nice. It's called Melipona becky, or we call in Honduras colmena grande, miel grande. That one produces a little bit more. This is another kind. There are also lonely bees. I will show you in a small hotel. That's the way traditionally that they harvest in the past. But now we use this kind of tools. We extract, so we don't destroy, and they can feel more easily. Another kind. So this is a lot of kinds of that one. But this is the more in a technical way. So yeah, you can see they fill all the bowls. So we extract the honey, and that's very easy to manage. And this is a hotel for the bees. 5 stars. So there are some Melipona bees that are lonely. They are alone. I don't know how this happened, but they in the Meliponario we build these hotels, small hotels, to stay at night. ¿Lo escribí bien? Okay.